The Zoo Story, a one-act play written by Edward Albee. This is Albee's first play, written in 1958, and though the play itself is quite short, featuring only 2 characters, it contains deep insights into the alienation, loneliness, and miscommunication that define modern life. The writer attempts to portray how today's materialistic world slowly isolates people, hollowing them out emotionally. In the modern age, many individuals suffer from inner emptiness and helplessness due to a lack of meaningful communication and genuine connection. Setting of the play. The entire play takes place in Central Park, New York City, on a Sunday afternoon. Peter, a middle-aged man between 40 and 50 years old, enters and sits on a park bench. He begins reading a book while smoking. It is his Sunday routine to visit the park, sit on this same bench, and read in peace. Then comes Jerry, a man younger than Peter, untidy in appearance, wearing unclean clothes. He starts a conversation abruptly by telling Peter that he's just come from the zoo. Peter, uninterested, returns to reading his book. However, Jerry is determined to engage Peter in conversation. He persistently tries to talk to him, first commenting on Peter's smoking habit and warning that it might cause cancer. Peter continues to avoid interaction, but Jerry keeps pushing. He struggles to find a word during his speech, and Peter helps him by suggesting the word Protestants, which reveals to Jerry that Peter is an educated man. This moment encourages Jerry further. Eventually, Peter gives in and agrees to talk. The 2 characters, a contrast. Through the dialogue, we learn more about them. Peter is an educated married man. He lives with his wife and 2 daughters, owns cats, and seems to belong to the upper middle class. He enjoys literature and a quiet, structured life. Jerry, on the other hand, is from a lower socioeconomic background. He is lonely and emotionally troubled. He reveals that his parents died when he was very young, and he's lived an isolated life ever since. He also confesses that he had only one romantic relationship during his teenage years, with another boy, subtly suggesting that Jerry might be homosexual. Jerry's strange stories. Jerry shifts the conversation and begins sharing bizarre and uncomfortable details about his life, including his strained relationship with his landlady, who he claims was often drunk and tried to seduce him. He also tells a disturbing story about the landlady's dog. Jerry initially tried to befriend the dog, but the dog bit him. After repeated failures to establish a friendship with the animal, Jerry decides to kill the dog by feeding it poisoned hamburgers. However, the poison doesn't work, and the dog survives but becomes ill. Eventually, the dog begins ignoring Jerry altogether. This entire story unsettles Peter, who starts to feel afraid. Jerry admits that he often tries to make connections with people through their pets because he doesn't know how else to form relationships. Peter now begins to suspect that Jerry might be mentally unstable and tries to leave. But Jerry mocks and blocks his way, desperate to keep him engaged. He even pushes Peter and slaps him, which surprises Peter but doesn't completely shock him. By now, he expected something erratic from Jerry. The climax. Then the play takes a dark turn. Jerry pulls out a knife and proposes that the 2 of them fight. This frightens Peter deeply. Though Peter tries to refuse, Jerry forces the knife into Peter's hands, and in the confusion, Jerry runs into the knife himself, committing suicide. Jerry thanks Peter while dying, saying that this act has finally freed him from the pain of his isolation. Before dying, Jerry carefully wipes Peter's fingerprints off the knife so Peter won't be accused of murder. Peter, shocked and speechless, silently picks up his book and leaves the park. The message of the play: you may wonder why this disturbing play was written. What does it really represent? The Zoo Story is a product of post-World War II existentialist. After the war, many people felt that life had lost its meaning. Society was changing rapidly. People seemed happy on the surface, but inside, they were hollow, disconnected, and lost. Meaningless conversations, purposeless actions, and emotional numbness became common. Theater, as always, reflected this inner crisis. This gave birth to theater of the absurd, a genre that showcased characters dealing with existential dread, social alienation, and emotional emptiness. The Zoo story is one such absurdist drama. Jerry represents every lonely, ignored soul in the modern world, desperate for connection, desperate for meaning, and ultimately desperate for release. Even animals like the dog reject him. Society dismisses him as mad. His final act of suicide is not just a personal tragedy, it's a powerful commentary on how isolation and indifference can destroy a human being. Conclusion. This was a brief introduction to Edward Albee's The Zoo story. In future videos, I will explore the theater of the absurd in more depth, including other major writers and how this movement redefined modern drama. Thank you for watching.